very prominent role in the Nigeria squad that finished as runners-up in the last Africa Cup of Nations. Lesotho trying to create something. It's nothing doing for them so far. In theory, they're still in with a shout of getting a playoff place from this group, boosted by that overturned result against South Africa. A result that has changed everything for many of the sides when you consider Nigeria and Rwanda now are just 2 points behind, or 3 points I should say, behind Benin and South Africa with 2 games to go.
Completely changed the whole parameters of the group. I think Nigeria, if that had been 17 for South Africa, they almost could have said goodbye to that top spot. I think it would have been very hard to make the difference up with goal difference, and that has been the problem, as you say, Mark. They've been playing catch up since the beginning, and they haven't beaten teams that they should have beaten, and they've had to rely on these last 2 games to qualify for the World Cup, and even now it's not secured.
Well, they want an early goal, but Lesotho frustrating them so far. That was Matlabe with the clearance.
Definitely. Nigeria finding some early success on that left-hand side, and Iwobi really linking up well with Lukman. I think Eric Chell will be hoping they can find more of Victor Osimhen and Tolu as they go forward.
That was good defense again from Pusi Matlabe. Osimhen, such a big player. And you need your big players to perform at the business end. No room left for Nigeria, no room for error. And their coach, Eric Shell, did call for an intense, aggressive start, but he's done that in the last few matches. So it's open to the players, really, to produce a convincing win. There's Bassi. Lukman, free on the left. Sends over the right-footed cross, and up for it was Tolu. And it's 2 big targets in there, Osimhen and Tolu.
First proper dangerous start or chance for Nigeria here, really trying to find those tall bodies, as I said, in the area, and I think that Lesotho defence is going to be having to be a bit more wary, as Tolu and Victor Osimhen are both very renowned for using their head to score goals.
Well, that's a header on from Tolu. Osimhen not really alert to that one. It's putting pressure on and forcing a throw in the end. 2 wins, 5 draws, 1 defeat for Nigeria in this group. That's a shot from Iwobi. And Moirani able to deal with it comfortably.
I think Eric Chow will really want to see that more in these opening 10-15 minutes. We haven't seen them test Moirani in the Lesotho goal, and I think put the goalkeeper under pressure. It's what Eric Chow will be wanting to see, and shots like that, you never know, it could take a deflection. It keeps the keeper in the game, and that's what you want as a striker. You want to keep the pressure on the defence and the goalkeeper.
Lesotho pinned back so far, playing in South Africa. They've done a tour of the country, really. Lesotho, a landlocked country in southern Africa, entirely surrounded by South Africa, and this game being played in Polokwane, close to 7,000 kilometers southeast of Lagos, to give you an idea at home. One of 9 host cities at the 2010 World Cup. Although not that many in watching this one, unfortunately. Lookman playing it forwards, and a misjudgment by the keeper. Has to be careful there. Almost caught out. Seoane Morane apologises, but the captain just about got it clear, with Osimhen getting very close.
That's a brilliant pressure by Osimhen chasing down Morane in the goal, making or forcing that error. And Ekche will be delighted to see that. Quick action from Nigeria.
Well, the early breakthrough is crucial. Nigeria haven't got that early goal in the opening 15 minutes, and Onyemechi unable to reach that pass.
You say the longer this goes on, Mark, you would say Nigeria should break the deadlock at some point, and you would back their players to be fitter and to be able to go longer than the Lesotho players. But the Lesotho defence is holding strong so far. I mean, we're just under 50, or just over 15 minutes in, and it's still 0-0.
Well, there's a clash involving Calvin Bassey. It will be a free kick for Nigeria at the end of this. Bassey playing in Fulham these days. Got that crucial equaliser against South Africa in Nigeria's last match, after another defender, Troste Kong, had scored an own goal also in the first half. The game played on a very poor pitch in Bloemfontein. And unfortunately, Aina getting injured in that game, had to get surgery on a hamstring problem. Rafael Onyedika out for the same reason.
Nigeria won't want any more injuries like
an attacking threat so far. They'll be happy enough just to stay in the game for now. Indeed, playing with Besiktas in Turkey. Lookman crowded out by 3 players there.
He's brilliant, but he's not quite able to get round all of those players and find a gap. It's been, hitting barriers so far for Nigeria. They've tried to break down this Lesotho defence, but to no avail so far.
Lesotho caught offside here. And nothing really for Nigeria to worry about defensively so far. Lesotho with officially 2 wins, 3 draws and 3 defeats. One of those victories, remember, coming by virtue of a walkover. They finish again in Polokwane on Monday at home to Lesotho. Against Boca Juniors on Saturday as well, and River Plate against Sarmiento on Sunday. So Lookman will take this latest corner for the Super Eagles, but not before the referee has a word. He spotted something he's not best pleased with.
A brilliant chance for Nigeria here to break the deadlock.
Easily cleared away. Oh, too easily cleared away, you would feel. That's good keeping. Morane came a long way. And Osimhen has the ball in the net, but the whistle had sounded long before that. The Lesotho captain suggesting that he's trying to get things sorted out pretty quickly, getting his side on the attack. Tolu getting in his way, and you can see why the officials intervened there. You can also see that Lesotho are in no hurry to get on with things here.
The longer this stays like this for Lesotho, they can get a draw heading into the half, and then maybe nick a goal late on. As you said, they're still mathematically alive in this qualification race.
Yeah, they're alive in qualification a lot longer than the 2022. Went out in the first round back then. Over 2 legs against Ethiopia, they lost on away goals. They were 3rd in their Africa Cup of Nations qualifying group, a long way behind Morocco and Gabon, ahead of the Central African Republic. So very much the underdogs against the Nigeria team that is looking forward to the Africa Cup of Nations in December. All of their matches taking place in Fez, the group stage matches that is. Morocco the host country, Nigeria up and running against Tanzania on December 23rd. 4 days later it's Tunisia, and then 3 days after that on December 30th it's Uganda. full due respect to Lesotho when you look down their squad list and you see that some of their players are playing with the likes of the Lesotho Defence Force and Lesotho Correctional Services at club level. Nigeria should expect to beat them comfortably.
There's quite a gap in, well, quality, salaries I can imagine at club level, and, well, as you say, Nigeria by far the favourites here, but football doesn't always work that way.
That's been the problem in this group as well for the Super Eagles. Not so super at various times. That's why the pressure is not just on the players but on the coach as well, as Lookman misplaces a pass. Sinijani does well, getting it to Tarang Malani. Bassi. Nigeria throwing. South Africa are set to appeal their points deduction, by the way. The theory was they might have tried to get off on a technicality because Lesotho didn't appeal straight away in that game played on March 21st. South Africa winning 2-0 at this ground in Polokwane. The visitors awarded a 3-0 victory instead at the end of September. They took a long time to make that decision, and that was because the South African midfielder Teboho Mokoena played the game when he should have been serving a ban. It was a pretty basic mistake from the South African setup, and some would say they were rightly punished.
I think for all teams involved, South Africa as well, the waiting, the suspense, there was a lot of talk as if the ban was going to go ahead and if they were going to get deducted the 3 points. And, well, as we said earlier, this has changed the whole parameters of this group and kept it alive.
Something of a godsend for the likes of Nigeria in particular, because remember, only the group winners go to the World Cup. And if you don't win the group, you finish second. It's perilous from there. You have to be one of the 4 best runners-up. And after that, they'll play off against each other in November. And that's only for the right to enter a World Cup playoff tournament, which takes place in March of next year in North America. That'll involve 6 teams, 2 places on offer. Nigeria playing one here. I think it's Tarang Malani who's down. Osimhen again beaten to the ball by the keeper, Morani.
We've seen a few moments here where Morani has had to come out a long balls over the top from Nigeria, and he hasn't exactly got the clearance right on every occasion.
Well, Nigeria have not tested him enough either. Sent in towards Osimhen. The cross was from Frederick. The header down into the arms of the Lesotho skipper again. And now the home side have themselves a free kick here. Telling Malani of the African All-Stars. The man fouled. And the man pacing the sideline is the former Mali international, Eric Schell.
I think that's what will frustrate Eric Schell and fans alike, that this Nigeria squad has such quality. The players like Osimhen, Lookman, Iwobi, Premier League quality players, Champions League quality players, and they're struggling to break down this Lesotho side, and they're not offering a lot to break it down as well. There's been hardly any shots at goal towards Morani.
Exactly right. And Shell saying that Victor Osimhen is for him the best striker in the world, but Nigeria have lots of players who can make the difference at any moment. Well, we haven't seen it too often today, but Simon's cross is a good one. The header down for Lookman. And again, Lesotho managed to get it clear.
It's not quite falling for Nigeria in the final third. There's a good transition from the midfield and the defence, but lacking in that final third.
Well, there's a hold up here, a chance for me to tell you about the live odds. Lesotho to win 45, the draw is at 10, Nigeria 1.07. Remember to bet responsibly, and only if you're over 18. You can play the Sporty Jet mini game on Sporty Bet as well. Oh, a shot in anger finally from Lesotho. They were appealing in hope for a handball, and then a bit of a wild attempt comes in after that. It was telling Malani.
It's one of those, if it comes off, you'll be talking about it to your grandchildren 20 years, 30 years later. But this one, straight into the stands, not to be for Malani.
And this game brought to you by Sportybet, live in Nigeria. On YouTube, on the linear channels, Sporty TV, available via StarTimes, DTT. Channel 258, DTH, channel 190, and the OTT, StarTimes ON in Nigeria. Women's Champions League live on Sporty TV. Roma against Barcelona is on Wednesday. PSG against Real Madrid the same week. That is the 15th and 16th of October. Nigeria, of course, the African champions in the women's game. And we'll be able to see the player who got the winning goal, Joe Echegini, in action in the European Champions League. Plays for Paris Saint-Germain these days. Here's Lookman with the cross, clawed away by the keeper. And Lesotho continue to frustrate Nigeria.
A lovely block from Morane there. I mean, Lookman making the run and again causing a threat to this Lesotho defence.
Good defending there from Trustee Kong, who said Nigeria would have the same approach as against South Africa. Had to show Lesotho respect because they have already lost points against them. And Shell, his reaction suggesting that shouldn't have been an offside. It's up to Nigeria to play to the officials a bit as well and try and pick their way through this defence again. That's poor play. Lookman, his pass nowhere near his teammate Tolu. Foul on Bassi this time. So Motabang complaining he should be getting one or two decisions, suggesting he was fouled first there.
Motabang lucky not to get away with the yellow there with a kind of push on the referee. Referee, I think, just stepping away in time, so he didn't really feel it, but We've seen softer stuff given.
I think he might have been demonstrating the way he was pushed, but it could have been misinterpreted by the officials there. Motabang with 12 international goals in 72 appearances now. He really was seen as one of the great talents to come out of Lesotho. He could have been interested there. This was a pretty good ball in from Milane. And that was the number 9, Motabang. He was almost on the end of it. That was good running from Jane, but just straying offside.
Lesotho with the first few early chances here, and well, as you can see there, that is not offside. Nigeria lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, the officials from Chad have got 1 or 2 wrong tonight. It's Lukman looking to hit back and looking to land one on the head of Osimhen. There's Simon. Frederick. Osimhen with a header. That was more like it from Nigeria, but again, the finish too close to the keeper.
Comfortable work for Morane, but yes, Eric Chell will be happy to see Nigeria posing a little bit more of a threat in the latter stages of this first half here. Still 0-0, and well, the longer this goes on, the team talk at half time for Eric Chell will get more and more difficult.
It's been scrappy. A little like the Rwanda game in many ways, that Nigeria were expecting to win pretty easily too. It's Osimhen, well capable of coming up with something special, but you can see the front two still searching for that big moment.
And you've got to give credit to the Lesotho defence. I mean, they're blocking out everything that comes their way, and they're not making it easy. They're not giving Nigeria space. They're not allowing for them to create a move and build up play.
Just 1 or 2 signs as well that the home side are getting a bit more courageous going forward. Didn't get the decision that time, as Matt Lavi was penalised here for a foul on Benjamin Frederick. And good news, I guess, for Nigeria fans from elsewhere. It's still Rwanda 0, Benin 0, Zimbabwe 0, South Africa 0 in the other group matches.
I'm sure someone in the Nigeria camp has got an eye on the scores and relaying those down to Eric Chell. But I'm sure he'll say we're concentrating on tonight and tonight only.
Well, they certainly need to have their full focus on this one. Lesotho finally getting a positive result against Nigeria. Last time these sides played. 4 defeats before the meeting earlier in this group. Back in March 2021, Nigeria 3-0 winners against Lesotho. Osimhen on the score sheet in that one. And in November 2019, they were 4-2 winners. It was away from home. And Alex Iwobi and Osimhen both scored. Osimhen with a double. And it's Lookman for Iwobi. Onyemechi gets out the cross, but more committed defending. Good concentration at the back for Lesotho. Well, their nickname, the Crocodiles. They haven't shown much bite in attack just yet, but certainly they're doing their jobs defensively. Again, Osimhen finding no space in the penalty area, not enough anyway. And here's a chance at the other end. Trusty Kong and Bassi doing enough. In the end, Sunijani with a snatched effort.
As you say, Mark, Lesotho getting more and more brave, or braver as they go forward, more and more courageous with their attacks, and you wouldn't be surprised if at some point they nick a goal here.
That's a good pass for Osimhen, but well, maybe he's a little bit fortunate to get a free kick there, because I don't think his first touch was all that good on this occasion. But Sepo Tolwane embraces the Nigeria striker as if to say, yep, I got that one wrong. Janet playing it through towards Motabang. Front two for Lesotho. Well, they can't be dangerous if they're given time and space.
It's a brilliant run forward, and just a little bit too much on the pass, but had it been a little bit softer, it could have been the perfect opportunity for Lesotho to take the lead. And Nigeria have got to wake up here. They've switched off a little bit going forward, and the long balls into the box don't seem to be working. They've got to be more proactive, quicker with their attacks, and change up, because otherwise Lesotho can just happily sit there and watch.
Yeah, bright enough start from Nigeria. It's all a bit slow and cumbersome at the moment. Iwobi. Indeed, he tries to win it back. Good play from Tolwane under pressure. And again, Alex, I would say these Nigeria players are used to trying to break down better defences than this one when they're playing for their clubs.
And that is part of football. If you're not, you can be the biggest star in the world, but if you can't break down a defence, no matter who it is, if it's Lesotho or Argentina, you've got to be able to break down these defences. And if Nigeria, one, want to get to the World Cup, they're going to have to do that. And secondly, if they want to perform well at the World Cup, then they're going to have to improve things.
There is Lookman. And now Iwobi. Chale working hard for his side. Almost intercepted one there. It's Ndidi now who's forced back. Well, that's over hits and disappointing. Onyemechi did his best. It's a sign of how this first half has gone for Nigeria. The sign it's not going well. Notsi, the former goalkeeper in his playing days, the Lesotho coach, he'll be very pleased that his current goalkeeper and captain, Sokwane Morane, has been relatively untroubled in this first half. And it looks like the home team in Polokwane, South Africa, will have a good platform here. Trostekong heading it out of play late in the half. Lesotho have a throw in well inside the Nigeria half. And they wasted it. And that should give Nigeria at least one more chance to try and create something. It was a bit of a wild pass, that, from Nikluanolo Matsau. Tolu Manakadare, the Wolverhampton Wanderers striker, playing it back to Iwobi. Simon switching wings as we enter 1 minute of additional time. And Simon closed down by Malani. It will be a corner. And Nigeria would love a goal right now. What a time it would be for the Super Eagles to get their noses in front.
One last chance, as you say, for Nigeria, and the goal just before half-time would change the game completely, both mentally for Lesotho and for Nigeria.
Tolu and Osimhen, two imposing figures in there. Indeed, joining the train as well, and it's Tolu who gets his head to it. Oh, that was a big chance for a man of his quality.
Not quite for Tolu, who might come to regret that one. It was just skimmed off the top of his head, and it was open. No one around him marking him. He's going to be kicking himself in the dressing room at half time. So he's got to be doing better than that.
Well, the best chance of the game comes for Nigeria in the very last minute of the half. Eric Chell and his side will need to improve in the second period. There's certainly lots for the team in studio to talk about and chew over. It's another worrying first half display from Nigeria. Lesotho have been disciplined, they've been dogged, and in many ways they're worthy of being level at the break. Both sides in a huddle. It is Lesotho 0, Nigeria 0 at half time.